And we're also showing a little bit of win risk for the Green Bay-Jacksonville game, as Colin had mentioned. We don't actually think the wind is going to be that big of a deal for this game. The strongest winds are actually located east of Wisconsin, more towards Cleveland. So with Green Bay is going to kind of be on the trailing end of this front, and most of the weather should actually move through by the time the game gets underway.
So I'm at 18Z. So for our viewers, that is, oh my gosh, I'm going to try. That's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
That's 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. So, but that's actually up to that point, and then this takes us till about 3 o'clock game time. So you're saying that the winds will probably push through and actually not be too much of an impact. And as we've always seen, we've said it before in many weeks that Aaron Rodgers isn't really impacted by the weather too much. So I'm gonna just pose this to Nick. Do you want to run down all 5 games, or you want to go game by game? Kind of just going on the fly with this show this week.
I would say game by game.
Let's go game by game. So
Okay.
I don't think there's too much of a story in Green Bay. Again, Green Bay is not really that affected. Again, you've got the rookie Jake Luton starting in Jacksonville, who actually had a pretty good week last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had over 300 yards and a TD and an interception. This may be a similar matchup for him, too. He had to play catch-up with the Texans with Deshaun Watson, and that game was like 27-25. I believe, or it was a higher scoring affair, and they let Jake Luton, they let him throw the ball. He had almost 40 attempts in that game, so that shows me that they have some confidence in him. And I think he had like 26 completions out of the 38 attempts. So we may see a similar thing here. We know Aaron Rodgers just dominates at Lambeau. I expect a huge game from Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. We saw a similar game against the Vikings a couple weeks ago where Davante Adams put up 3 TDs. So I expect much of the same this week. Luton may be like, he's a rookie. He's playing maybe in some windy conditions, but if you really need somebody that's a out of the box player, he may have some upside because the Jaguars have shown they're willing to go to him when they're down and having him just launch the ball. So maybe a good play.
Yeah, it's interesting. In this game, I had picked up Mason Crosby in our league before I really saw the wind. So hopefully that doesn't come back and bite me in the butt. But, hopefully the wind stays down and Mason Crosby can get a few 3-pointers in.
Yeah. And speaking of kickers, we've been getting a lot of inquiries about kickers. We're still in the development phase of getting our statistics and stuff for that. So we'll be getting that out hopefully very soon here. But we are considering kickers. We just got to firm up our stats with that.
So before we move on to the next game, though, I really want to say 2 things about this. One, Nick, you squeaked out a win against me, which really drives me nuts because New England...
It was like a 1-point margin.
Because New England sucked against the Jets. And 2, for DFS this week, I'm paying up for Davante Adams, $9,000 in DraftKings. I think he's the most expensive player that there is available. But, I mean... You look at his stats, he's targeted in the red zone 13 times, which is more than anyone, or second most, I think I found out. 30 catches, 422 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he had an appendix issue. So, I just think that I'm paying up for him this week. I have other things that I'm paying down, but I like the Davante Adams play. I don't think this game is going to be too impactful.